Hi, my name is Ada Arms. I am the Stockholm Junior Water Prize representative from Vermont, and my research project is titled The Effect of Different Nitrogen to Phosphorus Ratios on the Growth of Cyanobacteria. And my project was developed in response to the harm that cyanobacterial blooms, which are dense concentrations of cyanobacteria, inflict on the ecosystems that they dominate. Cyanobacteria is more commonly referred to as blue-green algae, and it is a particular problem in Lake Champlain, which is a pretty prominent lake in my state of Vermont. So the nutrient over-enrichment of bodies of water that forms these dense concentrations of cyanobacteria is a product of farm runoff and stormwater runoff and the like. And the specific nutrients that influence cyanobacteria growth are nitrogen and phosphorus. And while both nitrogen and phosphorus are limiting nutrients, typically phosphorus is held to be the primary influencer of cyanobacteria growth. So often when regulations go in place, they typically only address phosphorus inputs and place no caps on nitrogen inputs, and that is the case in the state of Vermont. We only regulate phosphorus inputs, so the goal of my project was to determine whether it would be wise to implement a regulatory policy in regard to nitrogen inputs as well. So through experimentation, I tested this by examining the impact of 3 different nitrogen to phosphorus ratio, low ratio, equal ratio, and high ratio. And from that experimentation, I was able to determine that in a low nitrogen to phosphorus ratio, cyanobacteria experiences the most growth. And while this does reinforce the commonly held belief that phosphorus is the primary influencer of cyanobacteria growth, it does not determine the exact extent to which nitrogen influences growth. It just supports that the ratio of a low nitrogen to phosphorus ratio is the most beneficial. So I think that this experiment provides somewhat of a foundation from which more experimentation can be done to determine that exact role of nitrogen, and then from there to determine whether or not there needs to be a policy implemented in regards to nitrogen inputs.